Hey guys, it's me, Allie, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be telling you about my absolutely insane speech and debate tournament that I had this weekend. So I know like the phrase absolutely insane and speech and debate tournament don't like go together, but trust me, after you hear the stories, you'll understand. So before I get into the actual like story part of this, I'm going to briefly run down like a normal speech and debate tournament so you understand what I'm talking about, at least kind of. I'm not going to go into full detail, but I'm going to go into enough detail that you like can follow the story and get why this was insane. So how a normal like travel speech and debate tournament goes is that me and everyone else on my speech and debate team who's going gets on a charter bus with my coach, and that's it. And we drive for a couple hours to whatever school we're competing at. So speech and debate tournaments are set up divided by speech and debate. I do speech right now, so I'll explain my events in a hot second. Basically, at the speech and debate tournament, there's like a central hub called the student lounge, which is literally just the cafeteria where all the students go when they are not competing. Then when you're competing, you'll walk into a classroom and like it'll be you and a judge and whoever you're competing against in that round. Rounds are set up, there's 4 rounds per event, per like tournament. So if you're entered in one event, you'd go to 4 rounds, like all the same event. If you're double entered, you'd go to 8 rounds, 4 of each, if that makes sense. I'm double entered, that's why I said the double entered part. So my personal events that I'm in, I'm not going to explain like what they are in too much detail. So I'm in one called Program Oral Interpretation, or POI. All you need to know about that for the story is that it's a 1-person event. That's it. That's all you need to know. I mean, if you want me to explain more about it, like I can in another video, but I'm not going to in this one just because it's not relevant. Wow, me. The other event I do is called Duo Interpretation, and that's a 2-person event. It's like a 2-person acting event. It's fun. Again, it's more complicated than that, but like basics. And just for the context of the story, I will be calling my duo partner Haley. Haley and I are great friends, and that's all you really need to know about her too. Also, I am double entered, which means I'm entered in 2 events, which I just explained to you. And basically what that means is when I go to my rounds, I would go to one round and then I leave early and go to the other round a little bit late. That'll make, like, you just need to know that for some context to a story I'm about to tell. So hopefully that made sense. I'm trying to just brush through this explanation just because I feel like none of y'all really care about speech and debate tournaments. I do have a lot of stories about speech and debate though. This is still the craziest tournament that's like ever happened to me, all in like one day. But I have a lot of like little stories from other tournaments. So if you guys want to hear more about them, just let me know. And if you guys are interested in like speech and debate in general, I can totally give you like a rundown about why it's great and why you should do it, even if you're bad at public speaking. Anyways, I'm done with like I'm done with infomercial Allie today. Okay. So on to the actual story. We had to be at my school at 5:50 in the morning, which is pretty early, but we got there, we got into our bus, and we just passed out collectively. And usually, you know, we just sleep until we get to whatever school we're going to. Not a big deal. Bus rides are pretty good. We've been in the bus for about 30 minutes when the bus stops in like a little sketchy parking lot thing. It's really dark outside. We can't see where we are, but we're stopped. And our coach, who is one of my favorite teachers of all time, I love her, she stops us and says, "So we're having some problems with the bus," which is great. But, you know, we're not in danger. It's fine. We're just gonna have to get out and like switch buses really quick. And we're all like, great, that's great. We love getting out in the cold in 6 in the morning in a full suit. Oh yeah, everyone in speech and debate is wearing like full suit, heels, looking cute, well, looking professional. So that's fun. So we all get out and we get into this other bus, and this bus is freezing. Like it's January, so like our first bus wasn't like a sauna, but it was like comfortable. This bus was freezing. So we sat there in the cold until we all fell back asleep, and it was fine. And I kind of thought to myself like, wow, this has already been kind of like a weird day. Like usually like it's pretty smooth like getting there. No. And little did I know that was like a boring part of my day. Like that was like the least interesting thing that happened. So we get there and we're all in the cafeteria, we're chilling. Postings get put up, which means it's time to go to our first round. So I'm walking to my first round and I'm talking to this kid. I say kid, he's definitely older than me. Talking to this guy, and we were just striking up a good conversation. We were in the same round, like we were competing against each other, like whatever. And the rule for speech and debate is that you're not allowed to go into the classroom that you're going to be competing in until your judge shows up, because it's like rude or something. I don't know. Some judges are like really like, how dare you go into my room? Ah. It's like, chill. So we're just talking, and a couple other competitors kind of like mill in, and we're all standing around this classroom. And our judge walks up, and she like is kind of like, hi, and then walks in. Like, no, like, hi guys, like, good morning. No, hi, and then walks inside. So we're all like, okay, cool. We go sit down. Now, most speech and debate judges are like a little bit friendlier than that. They're like, hey guys, like, good morning or whatever. But, you know, some judges are just kind of like, and that's fine. That was like not that weird. So we were like, whatever. So me and the kid I was talking to were like, keep talking. And we're having this little conversation, and all of a sudden, he just, in the middle of his conversation, he goes, like, yeah. He goes, and I was like, what? And he just points to the judge. Now, the judge, when she had walked into the room, she kind of like strutted in confidently. And I was like, all right, like, chill, you're a speech and debate judge, like, okay, whatever. And she had picked up a whiteboard marker. Now, there were several whiteboards in the room, so I figured she was just gonna like write some stuff on the whiteboard, because some judges like to write like the competitors' names or whatever on the whiteboard so they don't get confused. Totally fine, normal, whatever. Not this judge. This judge, as I turn around and look at her, is writing on a smartboard in whiteboard marker. I hope everyone knows what a smartboard is. It's like a big computer thing. And she's writing on it in whiteboard marker. And, you know, if this had been like a normal situation, like if this had been like an everyday situation, like if a substitute teacher or something had been writing on the smartboard, like people would have immediately been like, oh my god, please, like, don't do that. Like, you're gonna pay like thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't know how much a smartboard costs, but I'm sure it's a lot. But like, this lady was a judge, and it was clear that if we had told her to stop, she probably would have thought that we were being rude or something. I don't know. It was just weird. And by the time either of us realized it, me or the guy who like realized it in the first place, it had already been done. And the judge never realized. The judge just kept going with her life and her day. I didn't see her realize that what she had done. I don't know if anyone called her out on it or if it got found out. I have no clue what happened, but I would have loved to have been there when they were like, sis, you wrote on the smartboard, pay up. Like, no clue what happened. Maybe it came off. I don't know. So that was a little weird. So basically I performed, I did my piece, event, whatever, and then I left, which is what I was supposed to do. And I went to my next event. So my next event was my partner event that I did with Haley, and that I do with Haley. Words, English is hard. And, as I was walking up to my next event, I was just like, oh my god, I can't wait to tell Haley and like everyone else on the team like what just happened, because I was like crazy. And I was like, man, like usually I have like one weird judge per tournament, and I was like, wow, I hit my like weird judge quota like really early. Oh boy. So I walk into the duo room, and a couple of my competitors, we're all just kind of talking, and I sit down next to Haley and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, you will not believe this, like what just happened. And all of a sudden the judge turns to me and she's like, oh, you're here, what's your name? And I go, oh, my name's Allie, I'm Haley's duo partner. And my judge immediately goes, you don't know your name? You don't know your name? You don't know your name? And I was like, yeah, I do. I just told you it. It's Allie, and I'm Haley's duo partner. And the lady kept going, you don't know your name? You don't even know your name? You don't know your name? And I was kind of like, I guess I don't. And the judge was like, no, really, what's your name? And I was like, oh, I told you it originally. My name's Allie, and this is Haley, my duo partner. And the judge went like, oh, okay. I just thought you didn't know your name. And I'm sitting here like, what do you mean? Now, this lady seemed really nice. I don't know. Like, to all the other competitors, she was really nice. And so I genuinely was thinking, I was sitting here thinking like, well, what if I said something like dumb? Like, what if I like accidentally said my name was like Apple or something? Like, what if I like did that? Because honestly, that's something I would do. And I was sitting here thinking like, what did I do that made this judge like freak out? So, like, she was like very intense about it. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Anyways, you know, me and my duo partner go up to the front of the classroom and we're about to like do our piece, and Haley always introduces our piece because it's just kind of how we always do it. So basically she stands up in the front of the classroom and she tells the judge our names and, you know, what our piece is called. So she starts doing that and she goes, all right, well, I'm Haley and this is Allie. And the judge cuts her off and says, oh, you have to introduce her because she doesn't know her name? Is that why you're introducing you? What? Oh my god, I cannot fathom what this judge was thinking. So you don't interrupt. Like, I've never seen a judge interrupt like a competitor like while they were doing it. Like, we hadn't started our piece yet, but we were like doing like our pre-intro like, and she just interrupted her. And then Haley kind of looked at me and we kind of both like, we're like, haha, yeah. And then she kept going and she's like, and the name of our piece is They Fell. And then the judge cut her off again. The judge cut her off again and went, They Fell? I don't know what They Fell is. I only know what They Fell is. You need to separate your words. I'm your coach now. That'll be $35 an hour. And it was like, I'm like, I get it. She was making a joke and like a joke or something. But like, the way she was saying it was so intense. It had been one thing if this had been like before or after the round and she was like joking around. Because I was like, that's fine. Some judges are super cool and joke around with like the competitors. This judge was like intense. And I was looking around and all my other competitors were like, they were all making the same like kind of like, what is happening face. So our piece is also really serious, so I had to immediately go from like trying not to laugh at this judge who was just going off on us for not, I don't know, to like very serious, like somber singing. And I was like, great, that's my life now. Oh my god. I wonder like if I had said something. Like I asked Haley afterwards, like, did I say anything weird? And she's like, no. So I wonder like what the judge heard or what the judge thought I said that made her believe I didn't know my own name. But it was a wild ride. So anyways, we did our piece. It was fine. Honestly, the rest of the tournament was like pretty normal, but the morning just kind of like set me off all day. I was like, oh my god, what if I have a crazy judge every round? But no, all my other judges were awesome. It was a good tournament. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this video. Yeah, I have a lot more speech and debate stories. I don't have any tournaments that were like this weird. But I do have a lot of like little stories from other tournaments throughout, you know, the couple of years I've been on speech and debate. So if you guys want to hear them, just let me know. And yeah, alright. Bye guys, have a wonderful Wednesday.